Now we've seen tables in action and we can see how much of an advantage they are to using them, but we have yet to see some of the really big advantages. One of those really big advantages is if you use a table as the basis for a chart, the chart will automatically update when extra data is added. Now that is not always the case when you use a range, because you can add data to a range, but the chart range does not automatically expand to use the new data you've added. Let's take the sales data working file and see this in action. Now at the moment, our sales data isn't actually a table, so we need to just click into the data. Ctrl-T was our fastest way of creating a table. Excel will then highlight what it feels is the data cell components, and it's got it right, as usual. Okay, that then gives me a table in the default color scheme with the default name Table 1. I'm going to change that and call it Sales Data. Now that I've got my table, I'm thinking I'd quite like a chart, please. And I'd like a line chart of the sales. The only data I actually need is the date and the sales. So if I highlight those two columns and then create a chart. Well, the quickest way to create a chart is just the same as if it was a normal range, and that's the keyboard shortcut F11. Now you could go ahead and use the alternative method, which is to insert chart from the insert menu. Now the keyboard shortcut does give me a default chart, which is the columns, but I'd like a line chart for sales. So I can go to change chart type, line, and we'll go with one with markers. Okay, and it's quite a busy chart because there's a lot of data to graph between 2009 and 2015. But we get the idea. Probably best actually if I take the markers off. It becomes smoother then. Okay, so I go back to my sales data and I'm thinking, oh, I need some more data. We know how to do that. We go to the bottom right-hand corner, tab, and then tab out of the last cell, and that inserts another row. You can see it's extended the actual table limit. We can see the little corner there. I need a new row of data. I'll make up the ID. I'll give it a date of January 15, 2015, so that it's not too far ahead of the data we already have. We'll go for a large value though. Let's have $350. And then the other data is effectively superfluous, so we'll copy Thirst down and copy United Kingdom down. All I then need to do is go look at my chart, and my new set of data there is $350 on January the 15th, 2015. So it's instantaneous. There was no need for me to check the chart data and extend the range. It just goes and extends the range because the table range has extended. And that goes for whether I add it at the bottom or whether I insert a row in the middle, as we have done previously. But if you were to insert a row in a non-table range, it would extend the chart range anyway. It's these ones at the end that don't normally get extended when the range is a normal Excel range rather than a table range. So as long as the table extends, as it always does when you tab out the bottom right-hand corner, then that data is automatically added in to your chart. Let's go for February 15. Let's go bigger, $400. And then again, the rest of that information is not used in our chart, so we'll just copy it from above. Chart 1, and bang, there's the big high bar, $400 for February the 15th. Now in a similar vein, adding a pivot table based on chart data is just as easy. We create a new sheet, go to Insert, choose Pivot Table, and in the Pivot Table box, you can see here it says Table/Range. All I need to put is equal the name of the table, which is why I gave it a sensible table name, equals sales data. I don't need to tell Excel that that's a table by prefixing it with table exclamation mark or anything like that. I just put equals sales data, and Excel will go looking for a table or a named range called sales data. In our particular case, it will find the table called sales data, pull in the column headings here for me to then create my pivot table. I could drop the country into the rows, the sales into the values, and I've got myself a pivot table based on the sales data table. Now, although the range self-extends, if I tab again, add another record, go from March the 15th, $400. Now, this time it does matter what we put over here. So we're going for United Kingdom again. So that's $400 extra. The chart will automatically respond. And hey presto, there's another marker. The pivot table does not automatically expand. Although the data range is expanded, the pivot table does not refresh itself. That will still require a right click and refresh. For the new value, and you can see there it's brought it into United Kingdom, has gone up from 62 to 66. Although the data range expands, the sales table expands by itself, which therefore the chart can see and update itself. The pivot table can see that, but it doesn't update itself anyway. It always needs that manual refresh, which can be a right click and refresh, or you can close the file and reopen it, and that will refresh the pivot table as well. So we can create both charts and pivot tables based on our Excel tables.